The Indian independence movement was a complex and multifaceted struggle marked by a series of significant events and influential leaders who played pivotal roles in shaping the course of history. It spanned decades and involved people from all walks of life, uniting them in a common cause against colonial oppression. At the forefront of this movement were two towering figures, Mahatma Gandhi and Subhas Chandra Bose, whose contributions were instrumental in galvanizing the masses. These leaders, though united in their goal of achieving India's freedom from British rule, differed significantly in their ideologies and methods, each carving out a unique path in the struggle for independence. Gandhi, the Mahatma, advocated for non-violent resistance, a philosophy he termed Satyagraha, which emphasized the power of truth and moral integrity. He believed in the power of truth and non-cooperation to dismantle the oppressive structures of colonialism, leading iconic movements such as the Salt March and the Quit India movement. Bose, on the other hand, was a staunch nationalist who saw armed struggle as a necessary means to achieve independence. He was a charismatic leader who inspired many with his vision of a free India. He was convinced that India needed to fight fire with fire to counter British military might with an equally potent force, and thus formed the Indian National Army to wage a direct military campaign against the British. This essay delves into the contrasting approaches of Gandhi and Bose, exploring how their differing strategies contributed to the broader independence movement. It examines their respective strategies, analyzes their effectiveness, and explores their lasting impact on India's struggle for freedom, providing a comprehensive understanding of their roles. By understanding these two contrasting yet equally significant figures, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of the Indian independence movement, appreciating the diverse tactics employed. This exploration will shed light on the challenges faced, the sacrifices made, and the ultimate triumph of a nation breaking free from colonial rule, highlighting the resilience and determination of the Indian people. The Indian independence movement was not a monolithic entity. It was a tapestry of various ideologies and strategies, each contributing to the collective effort in its own way. It encompassed a wide range of ideologies, from moderate calls for dominion status to radical demands for complete independence, reflecting the diverse aspirations of the Indian populace. Within this spectrum, Gandhi and Bose emerged as prominent leaders, each representing a distinct path towards the shared goal of freedom, embodying the varied approaches within the movement. Their contrasting approaches, while seemingly contradictory, reflected the diversity of thought and action that characterized the Indian independence movement, showcasing the multifaceted nature of the struggle. It is in understanding this diversity that we can truly appreciate the magnitude of their struggle and the significance of their achievements, recognizing the collective effort that led to India's independence. Gandhi's philosophy of Satyagraha, meaning truth force, formed the bedrock of his non-violent resistance movement. This approach was not just a strategy, but a profound way of life that Gandhi believed could transform society. This philosophy was deeply rooted in his belief in the inherent goodness of humanity and the power of truth to triumph over injustice. Gandhi saw truth as the ultimate reality, and he believed that by adhering to it, individuals could bring about meaningful change. He rejected violence in all its forms, believing it to be counterproductive and morally wrong. For Gandhi, violence only perpetuated a cycle of hatred and retribution, whereas non-violence had the power to break this cycle and foster reconciliation.
Central to Satyagraha was the concept of Ahimsa, non-violence. Ahimsa was not merely the absence of physical violence, but also the avoidance of any form of harm, including emotional and psychological. Ahimsa is not passive submission to oppression, but an active force of resistance. It involves standing up against injustice with a firm yet compassionate heart, seeking to convert the oppressor through love and understanding. It requires immense courage, discipline, and a willingness to suffer for one's beliefs. Gandhi himself undertook numerous fasts to purify his soul and to draw attention to various social issues, demonstrating the depth of his commitment. By enduring suffering without retaliation, Satyagrahis can expose the immorality of the oppressor's actions and awaken their conscience. This moral awakening is crucial for the transformation of both the oppressed and the oppressor.
Gandhi's philosophy resonated deeply with the Indian masses. His message of non-violence and truth struck a chord with people from all walks of life, uniting them in a common cause. It offered a moral high ground from which to challenge the British Empire. The British, with their superior military power, found it difficult to combat a movement that was based on moral and ethical principles. It provided a means of resistance accessible to all, regardless of their social standing or physical strength. This inclusivity was one of the strengths of Satyagraha, as it allowed everyone to participate in the struggle for freedom.
Satyagraha is not merely a political tactic, but a way of life. It is a holistic approach that encompasses personal, social, and political dimensions, aiming for the overall betterment of society. It is a continuous process of self-purification and moral transformation. Gandhi believed that true change begins within oneself, and by purifying one's own heart and mind, one could contribute to the purification of society. By adhering to the principles of truth and non-violence, individuals can liberate themselves from fear and hatred, paving the way for a just and equitable society. This liberation is not just political, but also spiritual, leading to a more harmonious and compassionate world.
Gandhi's philosophy of Satyagraha found expression in his strategic use of civil disobedience and mass mobilization. This approach was not just a tactic, but a profound moral stance against injustice. Gandhi believed that non-violent resistance was the most powerful weapon available to oppressed people in their struggle for justice and dignity. He recognized the importance of engaging the Indian population on a massive scale to challenge British rule effectively. By involving people from all walks of life, Gandhi ensured that the movement was inclusive and representative of the entire nation. This mass participation was crucial in demonstrating the widespread discontent with colonial rule. His campaigns were carefully planned and executed, targeting specific aspects of colonial oppression. Each campaign was designed to highlight a particular injustice and to mobilize public opinion against it. The meticulous planning involved in these campaigns ensured that they were not only effective but also sustainable over long periods.
The Salt Satyagraha of 1930 exemplified our mastery of civil disobedience. This campaign was a turning point in the Indian independence movement, showcasing the power of non-violent resistance on a global stage. By choosing salt, a basic necessity, as the symbol of resistance, we mobilized millions of Indians in a non-violent defiance of the British salt monopoly. This simple yet powerful act of making salt became a symbol of self-reliance and defiance against unjust laws. The sight of ordinary Indians marching to the sea to make their own salt, in open defiance of British law, captured the world's attention and exposed the unjust nature of colonial rule. The international coverage of the Salt March brought global awareness to the Indian struggle for independence.
Gandhi's campaigns were characterized by meticulous planning, discipline, and a deep understanding of the power of symbolism. He knew that every action, no matter how small, could have a profound impact if it resonated with the people's sense of justice and fairness. He skillfully used mass rallies, boycotts of British goods, and the non-payment of taxes to cripple the colonial administration. These actions were designed to hit the British where it hurt the most, their economic interests. The non-payment of taxes was particularly effective in undermining the financial stability of the British administration. By refusing to pay taxes, Indian farmers and citizens directly challenged the legitimacy of British rule. His ability to mobilize millions, cutting across religious, caste, and linguistic barriers, made him a formidable force against the British Raj. Gandhi's inclusive approach ensured that the independence movement was a true reflection of India's diversity.
Gandhi's mass mobilization efforts were not limited to specific campaigns. He understood that the struggle for independence was a long-term effort that required sustained engagement and commitment from the people. He tirelessly traveled the length and breadth of India, spreading his message of Satyagraha, fostering Hindu-Muslim unity, and uplifting the marginalized. His travels allowed him to connect with people from all corners of the country, building a broad-based movement. His leadership transcended the realm of politics, inspiring generations with his unwavering commitment to truth, justice, and nonviolence. Gandhi's legacy continues to inspire movements for justice and equality around the world, reminding us of the enduring power of nonviolent resistance.